Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan and it's time to pick my team for Game Week 4. We've got a couple of transfers in the bank that I do intend to use, so I'm going to show you my moves this week as well as my scores from last week. So if you do enjoy this one, please do drop a like, do subscribe if you're new around here as well. Let's get started. Alright, so game week 3 was a score of 56 points, which was actually a little bit above average, actually. I think the average score was around 44, so we did okay in the end. It wasn't a crazy game week with crazy scores or anything like that, but still reasonably impressive. I feel like there were some good scores in there for sure. Keeping the Man United boys definitely paid off with Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, both really coming off. There was a couple of disappointments. Erling Haaland missing his penalty means that he only got 4 points. Watkins missed a consistent with another 5-pointer, but I hope for a little bit more, to be honest. But the big news was that I did transfer out Maddison for Foden, which was definitely a painful one to take, with Maddison playing and scoring 10 points and actually looking really good in that game as well. So 6 points lost out by making that transfer, despite the fact that Foden did come on. It's a difficult situation. It's one of those really, really awkward ones, but to be honest, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I was in a situation where I had to make the Maddison to Foden move, or I was going to get priced out of it. The news at the time was Maddison was injured and he was going to miss at least one game. That was the latest news coming out of the Spurs camp. And obviously, Maddison did recover in time, but I wasn't to know that, and I'd had to make that move in advance of the price changes. And Foden, it was the complete opposite situation. He was presumed to be perfectly fit, but he did fall ill a couple of days before the fixture was played. And because of his illness, he wasn't able to start the game and only was able to make a sub appearance. And even in that sub appearance, in just a few minutes at the end of the game, he created 2 big chances and ended up getting an assist. So really showed his importance in that team. And Foden is definitely a player I'm pleased to have moving forward. And like I say, I would make this transfer pretty much every time given in the same situation that I was put in, but it doesn't make it any less disappointing. So a tough pill to swallow, but I'm going to try and make the best of the situation and try and be positive moving forward. It's 6 points lost. It's not the end of the world. We could definitely come back from this. And we had a nice green arrow, halved our rank from over 1 million into around 500k. So actually, it's not so bad really. Let's see if we can push on from here and go even further. Can we half our rank again? I hope so, but how are we going to do it? So we've got 2 free transfers to use this week and a couple of issues to address in my team, but nothing in the bank. So that is going to cause me to make certain decisions, and I'm going to share my kind of thinking with you right now. First of all, let's line up what I've got right now, and then we'll think about what changes would be the best to make in my situation and maybe in some of your situations as well. So first of all, in goal, we have got Sam Johnston. He plays against Wolves. That's a really good fixture for Crystal Palace there. And Crystal Palace, I feel like they have been pretty solid defensively, not really conceding more than 1 goal a game. So I do think moving forward we could see some clean sheets from Crystal Palace. The question is, when is Johnston going to be replaced by Henderson? Because Henderson is obviously being brought in to Crystal Palace. Is Johnston kind of going to be biding his time a little bit here? Is there going to be a time where he is benched or no longer the first choice goalkeeper? And this is a main concern of mine. I think we should be good for this game week. I'm pretty confident about that one. He should be fine for this Wolves fixture. But after that, could we start seeing a situation where actually I might be forced to remove Johnston? We've got Turner on the bench and Turner could be getting replaced as well. So really, really difficult situation here. But we will address that later down the line. For now, we've got Johnston, a good goalkeeper against playing for a good defense against a weak attack. So for now, I feel like we're good to go. Another 6-pointer, that would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Into defence, we have got Ben Chilwell. Really unfortunate not to score more points last game week. Why didn't he just shoot? But never mind. We're still seeing him in those really dangerous attacking areas. And with these fixtures like Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth and Fulham to come in the next 4, we should still expect some really nice attacking returns from him, as well as those clean sheets. So fingers crossed for that one. I think it's looking pretty good. Pervis Estupiñán is next. He plays against Newcastle United. It's a home game. And one thing we've seen with Brighton recently is that defensively, they've actually been pretty weak. They haven't started the season too well from a defensive point of view. But on the other hand, Estupiñán has been brilliant going forward. He really, really has. He's been a really super attacking player. I remember game week 1 and game week 2, we saw him with goals and assists. It's been amazing. So it's kind of a difficult one here, really. Estupiñán, we can't really expect clean sheets from him, but we could probably expect him to be involved in those goals that Brighton are scoring. And Brighton are scoring goals still, which is obviously very nice. So the Stupinian basically is a player who I'm a little bit on the fence with, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. He's not a player I feel like I need to have right now, but at the same time, I want him for his attacking returns, and I want him for that fixture against Bournemouth in a couple of game weeks. So I feel like he is possibly worth holding on to right now. And we're going to finish off this defensive line with It's gonna be Bulldog. So yeah, we've got George Bulldog here as our final defender. I don't know how I feel about this one, but he's got a fixture against Everton at home. Looks like Bulldog is staying put for now, despite interest from AEK Athens in Greece. Remember, Bulldog is a Greek man. Remember, don't be fooled by his name. He is Greek. So it's an interesting one. I feel like Everton at home is a really good fixture, possibly one of the best fixtures you can possibly have, really, for a defender. So if you're going to play Bulldog at any opportunity, is it this game week? I guess it is. So I've got Saliba as well. Saliba plays against Manchester United. Bulldog plays against Everton. I'm leaning towards playing Bulldog out of those two players, to be fair. I think that's where I kind of stand on that situation right now. But look, it's a really a tough one. So yeah, I have some concerns, but we'll maybe address them when we get to our transfers. In midfield, guys, we have got Marcus Rashford first and foremost. I know this Arsenal game is not ideal, but my mind is taken back to last season where he really did perform very well against Arsenal. He really did, kind of around a year ago. It was really good. I can't remember exactly how many points he scored, but I think it was around 15. He absolutely dominated Arsenal on the counter-attack, and I feel like Rashford on that left-hand side could definitely be doing that. And after that, we've got the likes of Brighton, who are conceding goals. We've got Burnley. They don't look too good defensively, playing a high line there as well. So I feel like Rashford could be a really nice counter-attacking players in these next three fixtures, and therefore, do I actually want to keep him? Kind of. I'm not confident selling Rashford at all. If I was on a wild card, I would maybe not include Rashford, but I feel like it's too risky to sell him. I feel like I've got to keep him. Want to see what he does against Arsenal. I've not been totally convinced by Arsenal defensively so far this season, and I feel like Rashford definitely has the potential to do the damage there. You know, the best players will score against anyone, and Rashford is one of the best players in the Premier League. We know that. Despite some disappointment so far this season, he's not suddenly a bad player, and I've said that before. I said that last game week. Players like Rashford and Fernandes, yes, they hadn't got results in game week 1 and 2, but that doesn't suddenly make them bad players. It's a very small sample size, and Rashford already contributing with 2 assists last game week against Forest, which was much more like it, I have to say. Next up, we've got Saka against a Manchester United team that is lacking on that right side, or well, left side of their defence, I guess, because Saka will be on the right, so he'll be attacking the Luke Shaw side. Obviously, there is no Luke Shaw, so it's probably going to be Dalot on that side. So Saka should have a real advantage there, playing on the right-hand side of the Arsenal attack. After that, we've got Everton, Tottenham, Bournemouth. I feel that these are good fixtures, and I'm really looking forward to them. I do think Arsenal will score against Manchester United, and if they are going to score, Saka would be my best bet of who is going to be the man scoring the goals. And we've got penalties back as well. Yes, Saka back on penalties. That is definitely something that we like to see. So I'm hoping really for a game here with a lot of goals, because I have Rashford, I have Saka, and I also have Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno Fernandes, I think he has been phenomenal so far this season. I know a lot of wool was pulled over our eyes by the blanks in game week 1 and 2, but you know, I said it before, I said it, I'll say it again. His underlying numbers are phenomenal, and they continue to be absolutely insanely good. And when you are constantly getting in those goal scoring opportunities, when you are constantly creating for your teammates, you are going to get attacking contributions, no matter who you're playing against. Bruno Fernandes is a player, as an Arsenal fan, I'm very concerned about. I'm very worried about him as a player. So I would say, particularly with those penalties as well, Arsenal are, you know, very prone to giving away the odd penalty. It's what they do. So I feel like Bruno Fernandes could actually be pretty dangerous in this game. And then after that, we've got the likes of Brighton and Burnley. So Bruno, he's looking really good right now. With the injury to Shaw, we're seeing Bruno on more set pieces. With the injury to Mount, we're seeing Bruno playing more advanced. It is all looking very good for Bruno Fernandes. So despite a difficult fixture on paper, I still feel like I am confident in Bruno, and definitely a player I want to be keeping moving forward. Martinelli, on the other hand, I have not been impressed with, and I may have to take the L on this one. I really thought Martinelli would start the season really strongly, but that is in part due to the fact I thought he would either be playing with Jesus. Obviously that didn't happen, but then I thought, okay, maybe Trossard is going to be playing as the central striker, which is going to give a real advantage to Martinelli. We saw a little bit of that in game week 3 when Trossard was on the pitch there, but it hasn't been the case. Nketiah's been playing a very central, very direct player who's not so creative, I guess, and it actually nerfs Martinelli a little bit. On the other hand, we have got Gabriel Jesus coming back, and that's going to mean that Martinelli is going to be back involved in goals. Fingers crossed. It's a difficult situation, though, because next up we've got Manchester United, and Manchester United are a team with Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. And Martinelli versus Wan-Bissaka, you know, any winger against Wan-Bissaka, it usually doesn't go to plan. So I'm not expecting much from Martinelli against Manchester United. I'm wondering if it will be too soon for Jesus to get proper game time. And I don't actually expect Martinelli to really come out the blocks until game week 5 onwards from Everton, Spurs, Bournemouth. I think that's when he will start becoming really dangerous. But he's probably, out of my current midfielders, the worst of the bunch, which is difficult. It really is difficult, and we may need to think about removing him. We've got Phil Foden as well, of course, a player who I am much more confident in. I am, in a way, glad I have him now, because if I didn't have him now, I probably would not have the guts to go for him. And Foden is a player who, yeah, a lot of people are nervous about picking Foden, worried about the Pep rotation. Of course, Foden did play 90 minutes twice in a row before becoming ill. And then even when he was ill, he still came off the bench, changed the game, and, you know, was a super good player in that team. So I feel like Foden, whilst De Bruyne is out, is really important for the creativity for this Manchester City side. He's about to play the worst defence in the league at home. This is just a match made in heaven for Foden, really. I expect him to be back. I expect him to be playing. I'm not worried about rotation. I'm not worried about him being benched. People are saying like the likes of, you know, oh, we've got all of these new players coming into Manchester City. It's going to take a couple of like weeks for those new midfielders to kind of bed in. And I do actually feel like Foden is such a different player to the likes of Nunez and Doku that I don't really see Foden being the player at risk here. I would say that maybe some other players are more at risk than Foden is right now. So I would be still reasonably confident that Foden starts and plays the majority of games in this amazing run that Man City have. So I am still really feeling quite good about Foden. And yes, he's not going to be for everyone, but he is for me. And I'm excited about owning him. And we have a lot of debate this week. Who's going to be the best pick? Is it going to be Maddison? Is it going to be Sterling? Well, how about Foden? Foden can easily match these players and maybe even outscore them. So, yeah, definitely a lot of confidence in Foden right now. And really excited to be a Foden owner in a game week where he's actually going to start a game. And that's what I want right now, and that's what I'm going to get. Moving up front, we've got Erling Haaland, hopefully going to be finishing off the chances that Foden is creating, so they both get plenty of FPL points. That's what we want, isn't it? Yeah, Fulham at home, best attacker in the league against the worst defence in the league. Obviously, with Palhinha, he's kind of in a situation where he might be leaving the club as well, which is going to be even worse for Fulham. It's going to be a difficult situation for Fulham, and I expect them to concede more chances, to concede more goals, and an elite finisher like Erling Haaland may even be able to beat the almighty Leno, who is a save machine at the moment, isn't he? And finally, we've got Ollie Watkins playing against a high line of Liverpool that lacks a Virgil van Dijk. Could that spell a bloodbath? We know Watkins has been super unlucky not to score any goals so far in the Premier League. He's already scored a hat-trick in the Europa Conference League qualifiers. So it's actually, I think there's actually a lot of positives to be taken here. I think there's definitely some reason to think that Watkins could do well against Liverpool. He's a player that I could consider selling, but I don't think he is a must-sell. And I feel like that's the situation with a lot of my players. I've got a lot of players who actually, I could potentially sell them, but actually it might be a bit risky. I kind of like these players. I don't really want to remove them. I guess Watkins fits into that category, but I'm certainly eyeing up maybe from game week 5 onwards, switching out Watkins, maybe going for Gabriel Jesus. That's definitely something that's on the cards here, because Jesus will have the likes of Everton, Spurs and Bournemouth, should be well and truly back in the team by that point. So maybe we keep Watkins for the Liverpool game and, you know, maybe go for Jesus after that. Let me know what you think about that one, because, yeah, I'd be interested to know your thoughts on that and some other transfers I'm considering. But first of all, we need to show you the bench. So we've got Turner against Chelsea, not going to play him. We've got Archer against Everton. Hopefully should be making his Premier League debut. Let's see what he can do there. Saliba against Manchester United. I am expecting United to score against Arsenal, so happy to relegate Saliba to the bench. Doesn't really have attacking threat like Estupinian. So although Saliba, Estupinian, I probably expect both of them players to lose their clean sheets. Estupinian is the player who I would be confident is going to be the guy who gets the attacking returns there. So, yeah. We've got Kabore against West Ham as well. I'm going to leave him firmly on the bench as well, because we've all seen Luton Town so far this season, and it's not been ideal, let's put it that way. So, you can see, guys, that I have definitely got a few players I would consider selling. Saliba I've put on the bench, so it's obvious that I'd be open to selling him, despite the Everton fixture up next. We've got a Stupinian with 2 tough fixtures. We've got Bulldog there, who I'm not 100% convinced I want to play. In terms of my midfielders, Martinelli is the worst of a good bunch. I love all of these midfielders, but at the end of the day, I feel like Martinelli is probably going to score the least points in Game Week 4 out of these 5 midfielders, and I don't want to get left behind on a lot of these moves. Like, people are going for Maddison, people are going for Sterling. I want to get involved in those players too. I want these players too, guys. So, yeah, maybe Martinelli could be removed, and obviously Ollie Watkins. I feel like I want to give him one more game week, but I would be open to selling him as well. So, with that in mind, I have got 2 transfers I think I want to make, and I'm reasonably confident about one of them. The other one, I'm kind of dancing around a little bit. So there's no confirmed transfers yet, but I want to show you the 2 moves that I think would be really, really good for this game week and going forward as well. And those moves are going to be Martinelli and Saliba out, and replacing them with Maddison and Udogie, 2 Arsenal players removed from my team, replaced with 2 Spurs players, which I think could work pretty well. We've got 2 fantastic fixtures for Spurs, Burnley and Sheffield United. I would expect clean sheets in at least one of those, so that would be good for Udogie. And we've got Maddison there as well, who's obviously been on fire. And I do prefer Maddison to Sterling right now. I just expect, over the next 2 games, I think Spurs will score more goals. Over the next 4, I think Chelsea will score more goals. Over the next 6, I'm back again on Spurs. I think Spurs will score the more goals. And because I think Spurs will score the more goals, I think Maddison is going to be involved in more of those Spurs goals than Sterling will be involved in Chelsea goals, because Maddison just seems to be the centre of everything Spurs are doing right now, playing super high up the pitch, getting involved in the box and shooting, which is something we've not seen a lot of it from Maddison in the past. He's kind of known as a long-range shooter, but he's actually been getting in the box and taking shots a lot more, obviously on all of those set pieces as well. So many advantages to go for Maddison. I think he should outscore Sterling in the next 2, and then over the next 6, I think he should definitely outscore Sterling. We've got Arsenal and Liverpool in there as well, which are kind of tough fixtures, I guess, but Liverpool isn't so bad. Arsenal's a big derby. You never know what's going to happen there. Would not be surprised to see Maddison come away from those games with attacking returns as well. But in the next 2 in particular, I'm expecting a lot. So Maddison, despite the fact I like Martinelli, I still think Maddison will outscore him. I think Sterling will outscore him as well. So I would be open to making those moves. I would far prefer to keep Rashford in my team than Martinelli, so I'm going to keep Rashford. Yeah, I think Martinelli to Maddison is pretty much done for me, and Saliba to Udogie, I think, is a little bit more niche. It's a little bit more of an interesting one, and it will require me to kind of find a solution in game week 6 and 7. And my solution right now, the way I'm thinking, is that what I do is the next 2 game weeks I play Udogie, and then after that I probably bring in Sven Botman, and I will do that by upgrading one of Bulldog or Kabore. I'll upgrade one of them to Botman, and those 2 players, Udogie and Botman, rotate really, really nicely. So maybe that's something I can consider doing. I think that would work actually pretty well indeed. So yeah, that's my current plan, to bring in Udogie, hopefully get some attacking returns as well as some clean sheets, and then substitute him out for Botman, and then bring Udogie back in when Spurs play the likes of Fulham and Luton. I think that worked really, really well there. So yeah, I've got a little plan formulating finally, which is really, really nice to do, really. So yeah, this is what my team is kind of looking like. We're going to put the captain's armband on Erling Haaland, vice captain on Maddison, and yeah, this is what I believe is going to be my game week 4 team. Let me know what you think about those transfers. Would you do the same in my situation? I think it works pretty well, actually. So yeah, let's go with that for now. I do want to check out what the AI thinks about this team though, so let's have a look at that now. So guys, I've loaded up my team in the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool to have a look at this, to see what suggested transfers it has for me, and just to see how my team would look in future game weeks if I follow a similar plan to what I've kind of been talking about in this video. If you guys want to check out this tool, you can look at it for free. Check out your team for free, enter your ID or enter your team manually, and you can see what team team rating you get. I'm on 95% right now, which I think could be improved, but it's still very, very high. Be very interested to see what your kind of ratings are right now. Obviously, this tool takes into consideration everything from fixture difficulty to player historic performances and underlying data to try and formulate an idea of how many points a team might get. So, guys, if you want to check it out, you can check out the link in the top of the description. I've also left a second link in there. If you want to get 50% off your subscription, you can still do so. Plus, if you don't win your mini league whilst using the Fantasy Football Hub tools, they will give you your money back at the end of the season. So as long as you win your mini league, then you're going to be very happy there. If you don't win your mini league, you're going to get your money back from your Fantasy Football Hub subscription anyway. They're not running this deal for much longer. They've told me that they're only running this deal until this deadline. So make sure, if you haven't done already and you want to get 50% off, it's the best deal you're going to get from Fantasy Football Hub all year. It's right now. Make sure you get involved if you've been tempted at all by any of the things that you've seen on this channel. But yeah, look, my team is looking pretty good. Like I say, I want to have a look at some AI suggested transfers here. Obviously, I did say that I was going to play, Bulldog ahead of Saliba. He was actually saying Saliba is predicted 0.1 more points than Bulldog, which is kind of interesting. But look, AI transfers, what is it saying to me? Well, it is indeed telling me to sell Saliba, which does, I guess, increase my confidence in making that move. I just think Arsenal are not looking as good defensively as I hoped, and Saliba, not really much attacking threat there. So it does make sense to go for a player like Gavardio. He's definitely a player I've been hyping up in the past. I'm just not sure if Gavardio is explosive enough for me. I'm really looking for a player who is not only going to get clean sheets, but also going to get attacking returns. And I can't really see that from Gavardio. So, yeah, the predicted points are good. We are expected clean sheets from him, but I want more. I want more. I really want to go to the top. I'm not interested in playing it safe. But from those of you guys who maybe do want to play safe, maybe Gavardio is the answer. It's also saying it's to sell Watkins and bring in Jackson, which is kind of interesting there as well. So yeah, I get that. That's definitely an option for me. But looking at the predicted points table here, there's actually not too much in it between the two players. So actually, do I really want to do that? Particularly if I'm kind of planning that Jesus move, doesn't really seem worth it to me. So I like the suggestions. They're definitely sensible suggestions, but am I a sensible manager? I don't know if I am. Okay, so having made my 2 transfers for the purpose of this video, it has increased my team rating to 96%, which is very, very nice indeed. I've also got a 0.8 in the bank, which I told you kind of before, that would be really nice to upgrade either Bulldog or Kabore to Sven Botman in a future game week, possibly game week 6. So just looking through my team for the next couple of game weeks to see how things could kind of play out. Game week 5 looks a little bit like this, and I would potentially be looking to remove Watkins. Obviously, I've freed up some Arsenal slots, so I can now go for Jesus against Everton, Spurs and Bournemouth. That's going to be really nice. And then after that, when Udogie has those horror fixtures, we need to upgrade someone. So let's take out Bulldog and put in Botman, and this is starting to be a nice little plan. We can put in Botman now instead of Udogie, and we've got Botman against Sheffield United and Burnley in those 2 fixtures, where Udogie has Arsenal and Liverpool. So that would work out really well, and a plan is definitely starting to formulate here and look pretty good. Now, the one thing I haven't taken into consideration is Johnston. Am I going to play him, or is Turner going to be available? Turner is obviously going to be playing against Man City. If Johnston can hold on and still keep starting games for this Fulham game, I'll be absolutely fine. Not worried about this game week 5, because I'll be looking to play Turner against Burnley anyway, rather than Johnston against Aston Villa. But yeah, this is the one concern. It could be the one thing that ruins my plan, outside of injuries, of course, which could also happen, but I guess let's see. So yeah, that's what my plan is starting to look like from a Fantasy Football Hub point of view. Like, I think this tool is super useful to trying to kind of create that plan for your team and trying to work out where you are actually going with your team rather than just winging it, because winging it only works to a certain degree. So yeah, I think this is starting to look good. I like this plan. Yeah, let's see how it goes. So yes, guys, you can still get 50% off and your money back if you don't win your mini league if you subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub right now. So check the link in the description and get involved. These tools are super powerful, and all of the best FPL managers are using them to win their mini leagues around the world. So don't miss out on that amazing deal. If you enjoyed this one, please do drop a like. Do subscribe if you're in the around here. Of course, we have now completed our 4 uploads in 48 hours to make up for the lack of uploads earlier in the week. So yeah, it's been a tough 48 hours, but we've got got 4 videos out somehow, so I really do appreciate all the support on these bad boys. Friday, tomorrow, I'm not going to be uploading any videos. I just don't really have any more energy, to be honest, or time to do any more tonight. So I'm going to do 2 streams instead. We'll do a deadline stream as usual, but I'm also going to do a stream midday UK time where we'll kind of replace my either strategy stream, it'll kind of replace my final decisions kind of video as well, and we'll just cover all of the final news in that stream. So make sure you're joining me for that. We'll cover all of the latest FPL news, and we will also do a Q&A and answer some of your questions as well. Of course, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll try and reply to a few of them there as well. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I need to go and have a sleep, so I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.